Yeah, hello there. Welcome along to Anfield and to our Matchday Live preview show as Liverpool begin their defence tonight of the Carabao Cup here under the lights. But a very noisy Anfield, I must say. Former Reds Ray Houghton and Neil Mellor are alongside me to watch Jurgen Klopp's men take on League One Derby County, of course. Plenty of talking points for us to get stuck into in the next 15 minutes or so. We're going to take a trip down League Cup memory lane, reflecting on a tasty Champions League draw this week as well. And we'll discuss squad rotation. How many changes will the boss make for tonight's tie? But it is a very warm welcome to Neil and Ray. Obviously, this competition was one that gave us so many special memories last season, Neil. Nice to see it underway again tonight. Absolutely, yeah. It was a memorable season, and obviously we were in contention to win all 4 trophies. And I think the fact that we'd won the League Cup, the Carabao Cup, I think that gave everybody a huge lift, a huge buzz that one was in the bag and we still were going for the other few. So it was a great competition for younger players, for the academy. I think it was an amazing competition as well. We saw so many, didn't we, feature in the competition. I beating Chelsea on pens. I was down there, absolutely loved it. Oh, it was a great day, wasn't it? I mean, any cup competition really has a unique feel about it, doesn't it, Ray? But going into this one as holders, it gives the squad an added incentive if they needed it to defend.
I think the mantra of Liverpool, as far back as you want to go, has always been about winning trophies. It's always about being the best that you can be. In every game you go into, you give 100%, and that's what they did last season, and I expect the same this time around as well. It's also a great competition for the youngsters. You know, we've just seen there Kelleher with the penalty, great finish. I mean, that's better than some of the outfield players, isn't it? And then the one that missed.
Was a striker in his youth.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it's the size of him and the physique that he's got. I'm not surprised at that. But you can see there. Look at the joy in the faces of both the players and the fans. They love a day out at Wembley for a big occasion, and I'm glad to see that the Carabao Cup is still a big occasion for footballers, and they still enjoy winning. There's Jordan with the trophy. Don't tell me it doesn't mean much to players when you see the reaction in the faces of the players and the way that they celebrated. It was brilliant, absolutely first class. Yeah,
Ray summed it up there, because it is fair to say over the course of a season, Neil, that other competitions do maybe take priority for a team like Liverpool. But when you see scenes like that, you know, a trophy's a trophy, isn't it? Players want to win it when you get to that stage.
It was also the missing trophy, because we'd won so many of the big ones, and it was one, well, OK, can we win the League Cup as well? And obviously we went on to do so. It felt like a proper final. You know, sometimes with the League Cup, maybe it doesn't have that same sort of intensity. It did. You know, obviously I think Chelsea were Champions League holders at that time. So it was a proper cup final. The lottery of penalties, of course, but it was still a great way to win. So it's very early on in the League Cup now. The big boys probably won't be playing in the early rounds, but if we do get there, you could see certainly how much it meant. And also, the manager thanked the younger players, and all those that were involved along the way were there to celebrate with the first team boys, of course.
Well, listen, these two alongside me both have League Cup winners' medals in your lockers, don't you? We're going to start with a little trip down memory lane for yourself first, Neil. So it's Ipswich in 2002, is that right? You made your full debut in the 4th round in this competition.
Definite pen. What is Mark Venus doing diving in there? I was on pens, but El Hadji robbed it off me. That's another story. He scored it, we went through. First career goal, here we go. VAR is not needed, miles onside. Forgot my hair gel actually after that game, disappointed. Did a few interviews afterwards. That was in front of the Travelling Cup. And then a few years later, it was against Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough, a decent side in the Premier League at the time, and a couple of late goals in front of the Kop. It was a sad occasion, that, because Emlyn Hughes had just passed away, so we all wore black armbands to remember, obviously, a great former player, a great captain, but it was nice to get a couple of goals. Left foot as well, didn't get many with my left foot, no chance for the goalkeeper there, lovely.
You enjoyed that, didn't you?
Did enjoy it, yeah.
We all love a Mel's montage. Sadly for Ray, we haven't got any footage, because you won it 8 years apart, I think I'm right in saying it. 1986 with Oxford, and then 1994 with Villa. So that's why we've got no footage, because it wasn't with Liverpool. But there's some pics here.
I'm surprised you've got it in colour. It was that far back. But yeah, they were great memories. I mean, these are the moments in your career that you remember the most. You know, I played numerous games, but I remember the finals.
There's John Aldo.
The only thing missing for Aldo that day was he didn't score, funny enough. I mean, he was prolific throughout his career, and particularly that season, because he kept us up. Him and Billy Hamilton in the shot there. Not only did we win the League Cup that season, but we actually stayed in the top flight. and a lot of that was down to John and the goals that he scored. He was absolutely phenomenal. He didn't score that day. He had plenty of chances, but unlike him, he missed quite a few. But we won 3-0 against the odds against Queen's Park Rangers, who, funny enough, had beat Liverpool in the semi-final over the 2 legs. So they got through to the final, and we played them in the final itself and beat them 3-0.
Well, in terms of a platform that it gives players, you, I guess, would be a shining example of someone making your debut, your full debut in this competition, and then obviously going on to greater success with the first team.
I think for majority of younger players, they look at cup competitions and think, that may be my only opportunities. There is very few players who can break into the first team and play straight away in the Premier League. Very, very few. I mean, you think about Raheem Sterling, Trent Alexander-Arnold, there's very few who can do that. So for majority, it's a case of when is that League Cup game coming around? And I was the same. And who are we playing? Is it going to be an opponent where, for me, it was Ipswich, who weren't a Man United, a Chelsea, a big rival, where the manager would say, I trust 1 or 2 younger players to go and play. And that was massive for me. And the big thing for me was, now we see a lot with Premier League teams nowadays, and Liverpool have been the same. When they make 10, 11 changes, all these young players are playing with other young players. I was playing with Steven Gerrard, I was playing with Marcus Babbel, I was playing with the first team players, and that really helped me. But great memories. Should have taken that penalty. Won the pen. I was on pens. Never took it.
He's going to talk about that all night, I think. I mean, just to back up what you're saying, though, Ray, stats-wise, Jurgen Klopp has used 80 different players in 24 League Cup games so far, so clearly sees it as an opportunity.
Yeah, but he's got to. Simple as that. Why? Because he's got a youth academy that he believes in. So there's youngsters that are coming through there. His coaching staff who work with him will be telling him how good they are. And you need a pathway through to the first team. And the pathway at the moment, because of the way the results have gone, is in this competition. So that's why you're going to see quite a few of them getting their chance. And every time you get a first team position, it's a chance for you to showcase your talent. So you've got to seize the moment. Seize that opportunity. Every time you get that chance, take it.
I'm sure they will tonight. OK, we're going to switch from one cup competition to another, and this one the toughest of the lot. Obviously, the Champions League draw has been the big talking point this week, Neil, and it doesn't get much tougher than that, really, does it, Real Madrid?
Them again. I was going to say we owe them one, but we owe them 3, because they beat us in the final twice, and they beat us in the knockout stages in between those finals as well. It's as tough a game as there could have been. It's an amazing game to look forward to. Obviously, it's in February and March, so it's still a long way off. It's a different Liverpool side that will line up then as to what would line up this weekend against Southampton. You're hoping a few key players will be back fit and available for it. What a game to look forward to.
A few months to look forward to it, Ray, but I mean, on paper, as we say, you look at it now and you do go, that is a tough one. But
the good news, you don't play on paper, you play on here.
This is very true. This is very true. And listen, we play in 3 months' time.
Well, listen, they're our bogey team. You know, I was looking at the results over the last few seasons. We've played them 6 times recently. They've won 5 and we've drawn 1. That's how dominant they've been over Liverpool, and they've beat us in a couple of finals as well. So we've got to address that. We've got to find a way, and the manager and his coaching staff have got to think of a plan how you can beat them. And they are beatable, there's no doubt about it. They started the season well, the top of the second in La Liga. They've not lost a game so far. I think they've won 10 and drawn 2 of the games that they've played. You know, they've got through to the Champions League and top of their group. Now for Liverpool, they're going to get stronger, in my opinion, the second half of the season. It's not all been gloom and doom for the first part, as far as I'm concerned. And not a lot of other people might have thought so. I look at it a different way. I look at the possession that we've had. I look at the shots at goal we've had in comparison to the opposition. So I see a lot of positives are there. Yes, there's some fundamental things that are wrong, but you can turn that around. And I think, as Neil said, once you get your squad back fit and strong and all competing for places, you're going to see Liverpool going that way, in my opinion, for the next part of the season.
Let's not forget, we were the better team in that final.
Yeah.
We should have won that game. They got away with it, so they will know what a tough draw it is for them as well.
Well, they've got the chance to avenge it in February. Obviously, the frustration, or one of the frustrations of not topping the group, means that the second leg will not be at Anfield, so that the pressure is on to get the damage done in that first game.
Yeah, absolutely. We know the difference Anfield can certainly have. It's been known, obviously, in second legs in previous years. It's going to be needed in the first leg. And Real Madrid will look around here and go, this is a tough place. Am I right in thinking when we got beat a few years ago in the knockouts, it was behind closed doors? Am I right in thinking that? So they never got to experience the 0-0, I think it was, second leg here. So completely different, yeah. And the fans will make it favour Liverpool for that first leg.
Yeah, you are right. It was the quarter-finals 2 seasons ago. Just quickly on the other ties in the draw, any catch your eye?
Well, Bayern Munich and PSG was the one that stood out for me. And it comes back to Becky, what you were saying earlier. When you finish second in your group, you're going to get a tough game. And I think it's a bit of a double whammy, because not only can you get a top team, but your first game's at home, which I always think is that you're at a disadvantage, because the away team comes, it can stop you playing.
Yeah.
They end up getting a 1-0 defeat, and then the onus is on them the second game, and they're at home in front of their fans, and that gives them an extra incentive going out to play. So it'll be tough, but I genuinely believe that the way Liverpool can play, they're more in a match for Real Madrid, and I think they can still beat them. They're the two ties that stood out to me. There's a lot of much of a muchness about the rest, and some of them will be absolutely delighted that they've not got Liverpool, Real Madrid or Bayern Munich, because they're the historic teams. If you look at their performances over the last few seasons, they're the standout sides, and a lot of teams will be delighted that they've not drawn against them.
Don't underestimate the World Cup and the impact that might have on a few players.
Yeah, it's a unique situation.
Well, I'm thinking PSG, if Messi wins the World Cup, he's a massive player for them. How much desire is he going to want to back it up with the Champions League? It's unknown, and that's a big thing.
OK, we've got to wait a while for the glamour of the Champions League to return, but it's the glamour of the Carabao Cup tonight. Derby County are the visitors, and we're going to talk now about who you'd like to maybe see. There's a chance for a few debuts, full debuts here tonight.
Yeah, listen, I would like to see a mix in a match, though, because I think Neil said something earlier that really resonated with me. It was when he came into the team, some of the more experienced players were playing as well, so it wasn't all youngsters, because I think when you put too many in together, they're looking around at each other. Who's going to be in charge? Who's going to tell me where I should go? You can do as much as you can in training in the build up to the game, but when you're out there in the heat of the battle, you need a little bit of experience just to help you through it. So I'd be interested to see tonight, and I'm not great at picking Jurgen's teams, I'm very poor at it, but I would hope it'd be a mixture of youngsters and some experience in it.
Well, I will come back to you in just a second and ask you to pick a potential starting 11. But Neil, just echo really what Ray said there. You're hoping to see a few fresh faces tonight. Yeah,
difficult, isn't it? Because we've got no idea what the team selection will be. I've put a couple of young players in there. I watch a lot of academy football, and what I would say is, the manager will not be frightened to put a few of the young players in. We have a really good relationship between the academy and the first team. They're on the same site, which I think benefits the young players as well. So whether it's Bobby Clark, who's been outstanding, whether it's Bajcetic, even Leighton Stewart's been hitting the back of the net recently, all young players that have been doing really, really well, and are in a position to say, if you play me, I'm ready for that, because of how well they've done it in the academy games.
Yeah, Neil thinks that Stefan Bajcetic will make his full debut tonight, Ray, and you do as well.
Yeah, listen, we're not far off, Neil and I. I've got to be honest, we didn't speak about this either. So I think it just goes to show, you're thinking players like Kanate, who's coming back from injury. I actually think he needs more games, just to get up to speed.
Yep.
And I know that we've only got one more league game left at the weekend before the international break for the World Cup. But I think he still needs, that extra minutes in his legs. And Tsimikas, he's been an understudy for the majority of seasons to Andrew Robertson. Whenever he's come in, he's done well. So I think he needs some game minutes as well. But yeah, I've gone for a little bit of experience, as I said, and some youngsters. I really like Carvalho. I think whenever he's come into the team, he's really inspired me as a fan watching, because he's got great technique. He covers the ground well, he goes at players. I like exciting players, I like players that run at the opposition, gets their head up, looking for a forward pass. So he's always looking for the positives. So that's what I like about some of the youngsters that are coming in. But Neil knows more about him because he watches the younger groups and who deserves a chance. And you're just talking off air about the young lad Clark. And he said, you'll enjoy, if he starts tonight, you'll enjoy watching him, because he's a real footballer. And I like players like that, who are always looking to be progressive when they're in possession of the ball, not always backwards and square. That's the easy part of the game. I want to see someone who wants to link the play and get in advanced positions where you can hurt the opposition.
Yeah, and they've got on the pitch as well, the likes of Bajcetic and Bobby Clark. Bournemouth in the Premier League. The manager's put Bajcetic in a number of Champions League games as well. So it's not completely new to some of the young players I think we'll see tonight.
OK, it could be a massive night for some of Liverpool's younger players. We will find out who starts very soon. But for now, that is it from Ray, Neil and myself. We are going to be back with you, though, on LFC TV and LFC TV Go as well from 7 o'clock on Matchday Live. Our build-up includes an exclusive chat with last season's hero in this competition. Of course, it was Quaveen Kelleher, and we've got live audio commentary of all the action from 8 o'clock up on the gantry tonight with Steve Hunter, and former Liverpool women's striker Natasha Dowie is alongside him this evening. Then at 10 o'clock, it's a full hour on the Matchday reaction with analysis and interviews with the players. And if you're not able to be at the game tonight, then don't worry, you can watch every single kick in our full match replay from 1 a.m. if that's a little bit late for you. Maybe you want to record and watch in the morning, and do look out for the best behind the scenes action on Facebook and YouTube tomorrow at 5 p.m. with Inside Anfield. Do join us later on then if you can. Until then, it is goodbye from us. See you soon.